There is something unusual about Travis Barker that becomes obvious only after you look beyond the tattoos, the famous drum kit, and the image of the energetic drummer behind Blink-182. His real story is not simply about playing fast or becoming famous. It is about precision, persistence, and a musical identity that developed over years of constant experimentation. So what made Barker stand apart from thousands of other drummers? And how did a musician who began with a very specific punk rock sound eventually become one of the most recognizable drummers of his generation? The answer is more interesting than the image suggests. To understand it, we have to go back to the beginning, before the spotlight became impossible to ignore. Travis Barker grew up in California and discovered drums at a young age. While many young musicians are drawn to an instrument because it looks exciting, Barker approached drumming as a language. He studied rhythm, experimented with different styles, and developed a strong understanding of timing. His early influences were not limited to one corner of music. Punk, hip-hop, jazz, and other rhythmic traditions all helped shape the way he thought about the drums. That mixture became important later. When Barker joined Blink-182 in the late 1990s, the band already had an energetic identity, but his arrival added another dimension. His drumming was technically sharper, more dynamic, and often more adventurous than what listeners might expect from straightforward pop-punk. He could make a simple song feel larger without taking attention away from the melody. But that wasn't the full story. Barker's real strength was knowing when to add complexity and when to hold back. His drum parts often sound effortless because every movement has a purpose. A quick fill, a sudden change in rhythm, or a carefully placed accent could transform an ordinary section into a memorable moment. As Blink-182 became a major force in popular music, Barker's influence expanded beyond the band. His playing helped demonstrate that technically skilled drumming could exist inside accessible, radio-friendly rock. Young musicians could hear his performances and realize that punk-inspired music did not have to mean simple musicianship. What happened next changed everything. Barker began working across genres, collaborating with artists from hip-hop, pop, rock, and alternative music. This was where another side of his musicianship became clear. Instead of protecting one particular style, he treated music as an open space. The drummer who became famous through punk rock could comfortably adapt to completely different environments. His crossover work also changed how many listeners viewed the role of a drummer. Barker was no longer simply keeping time behind a band. He became part of the musical identity itself. His playing could be aggressive when a song needed energy, precise when the arrangement demanded control, and surprisingly restrained when the moment called for it. Few people noticed what this led to. Barker became an example of how a musician can remain connected to their original sound while continuing to evolve. His career showed that versatility does not require abandoning your identity. Instead, it can make that identity stronger. There is also a lesson in his approach to performance. Barker's playing is highly visual, but the appearance is only one part of the experience. Underneath it is repetition, preparation, coordination, and an intense understanding of rhythm. The speed may attract attention, but consistency is what keeps a career at the highest level. Over time, Barker's influence reached younger generations of musicians who discovered rock through Blink-182 and then explored other styles through his collaborations. He helped create a bridge between scenes that once seemed far apart, proving that musical boundaries could be crossed without losing authenticity. And perhaps that is the most interesting truth about Travis Barker. His success was never simply the result of playing louder or faster. It came from understanding that a drummer can shape the personality of an entire song. His career is a story of curiosity, discipline, adaptation, and an unwillingness to remain in one musical box. Today, Barker's legacy extends far beyond the songs that first made him famous. He represents a generation of musicians who showed that technical ability and mainstream appeal could exist together. His journey also offers a simple reminder: the most recognizable artists are often the ones who keep learning long after they have already succeeded. The image may be unforgettable, but the deeper story is the musician behind it. Travis Barker did not simply become famous for sitting behind a drum kit. He turned rhythm into an identity, collaboration into an opportunity, and evolution into a defining part of his career. And that may be the real reason his influence continues to reach far beyond the world where his story began.